Yes.
Presenting Benny Goodman and his music.
Hey, everybody. Good morning, Chris. Yeah, I did say good morning. Yeah, I did. I did, in fact, say good morning to Chris over here. It's good evening, Chris. Hey, Lori and Mom. I also just very nearly called my mom Sharon, but that's very modern of me. Hey, Jeanette. Hey, Martin. Hey, Tracy. Hey, Timothy Rodney. Good evening. Hey, Jim. Hey, Bob.
In the urban room of the Congress Hotel in Chicago. And first of all, one of Irving Berlin's greatest.
Hey, Jordana, thank you. Hey, Jim. I've actually not had a sip yet, but... Yeah. Hey, Bridget and Mary Jo. Hey, Jennifer. I'm having a little rock and ride tonight. I'm really drinking very little for a time travel pub girl. I was just telling Ronnie, yes, I made a lot more than usual on last week's tour. But I don't want to make that a habit of getting rip-roaring drunk for people's amusement. Admiral Theater afterwards? I don't know about that. My day's been relaxing. I worked on the Adam Allen entry for the Trinity Churchyard book. I love that. I was in my element. I watched season 2 of the other two, which isn't as good as season 1 or season 3, but still has its moments. And look who's here. And Ronnie ordered the Thai katsu curry from Nori, which is possibly my favorite meal in the world. Hey, Beth. Hey, Darlene, Betsy, hey, everybody. And yeah, I've had a nice relaxing day. Went out taking pictures and tested manual settings and auto settings to see how I'm doing. And, well, the auto always looked better, but still, I'm learning stuff. Thank you, Rodney. Yep. Hence, every time it is my birthday, I do want to dress like I did when I was 10. So hence, these radical pants. Hey, Cassidy. Good to see ya. Yeah, that was a tornado last night. We went to the basement. Except for Miles, who will not go to the basement, so we put him in the closet. Hey, thanks, Christy. Ellen Bezos Boutique. They're pretty cheap. Nice, Megan. Yes, these are definitely my action pants. Yeah. In a world of Eddie Haskell's, be a Kimmy Gibbler. Hey, Steve. Hey, Cindy. Joanne, they give me flashbacks to my elementary school days. My whole 4th grade class was neon. And getting Priya to the basement yesterday was hard. And then I just pulled some suitcases out of the storage room down there, and they love sitting on suitcases, so. There's some weird squeaking noise. There was a mouse in here, I would explain it. Bezos Emporium, yeah. I've usually gone with Bezos Boutique, but there's got to be a better term than this. Bezos Family Feed Bag, something like that. Hey, Gina. Bezos Smile Time Emporium. Yes, I don't know if we call this the new logo, just the alternate logo, but I like it myself too. That we call it the Anatomy of a Mysterious Chicago. That's all right, Gina. Now, if I had more neon to this, it doesn't work anymore. That's the thing. Bezos Dry Goods Concern. The Bezos Dry Goods Mercantile. Swaparama. Well, Christy, let me show you the fanny pack I got here. In fact, I should really have this one on. This fanny pack, which is not only neon, it says neon on it. I'm going to put this on right now. I had to add some elastic into the band, and it doesn't really hold an adult-sized wallet, at least not if you have like a George Costanza wallet like me. Welcome along, everybody. Now, I don't have a slap bracelet at present, but I do have this Apple Watch band that looks very similar to a slap bracelet I had in 1990. But today I'm going for the Barbie pink watch band, as is the style this year. I believe the Fanny Packs came back a couple of years ago, before the pandemic. This one, yeah. Can I put my whole wallet in this thing? I'm not sure if I can. Nor do I know where it is. You can tell I'm getting older now. I'm spending most of my day walking around looking for things. Here's the keys. Put those in right now. Oh, there it is, yeah. Let's see if this works. No, not if I care to zip it up. Yeah, here we go. Full neon. Other than the shirt, because that's just too much. You got to be, fashion conscious about these things. You got to be smart about style. No, in fact, I think we may be in the tail end of fanny packs now because I have started seeing people wear them Chewbacca style across the chest, which was kind of the death knell for fanny packs before, I feel like. Alright, today I'm drinking some Rock and Rye. Where's the mysterious Chicago fanny pack? Oh, good question. Does Cafe Press make those? I keep thinking they ought to make Apple Watch slap bracelets. You could just slap your Apple Watch on. That's probably not good for the Apple Watch. Hey, Vicky. Hey, thanks, Cindy. Jelly bracelets could come back.
And they all loved it. They all loved those bastards when they played by Benny Goodman. And now another one just in the same vein.
Steve, not nearly like I was last week. I don't want to get in the habit of that as much fun as it was and as lucrative as it was. And that was the best donations I've had in quite some time. Yeah, there were some tornadoes warnings that looked like they were coming right for us, but didn't touch down. It did stop me from getting to Villa Park to do a library gig, but that's been rescheduled for a couple of weeks hence. Oh, and hey, the Facebook page has not been working for me today. I don't know why. I can get to it on my phone. I can't really get to it on the desktop, but there have been some new events listed. You can get to them on Adam Chicago or MysteriousChicago.com. I just haven't added the Facebook postings for them yet because it hasn't let me. But next week, Graceland Cemetery, and 2 for the second weekend of August, which will feature a special guest who will be appearing on tonight's Time Travel Pub Crawls. We're going to do a Grave Robbing 101 Saturday the 12th in the afternoon. Might add out evening one if it comes to that. Then Rose Hill the next day. Featuring a special guest. Hey, thanks, Linda. Evening, Jan. Evening, Vicky. Hey, everybody. We're gonna let Benny finish up this tune here. Live in the Joseph Urban room of the Congress Hotel. We're gonna be visiting a building designed by Joseph Urban today. Jordana, I know you will. I should see who's the Beatles Fest this year. But Eli will be in town for the Springsteen concert. Oh, I should really make sure I've got... Yeah, okay. Oh no, oh dear, oh no. Okay, I just realized the script, I'm missing a couple of the scripts for these. We haven't actually done this one in about 3 years now. So, but all right. There's Benny right there. So, all right, ladies and gents, and those beyond the binary, that means it is time. It's time for the theme song.
Climb aboard, cause you don't know exactly where or when we'll go. Chicago 1893, or the Gilded Age in NYC. Blast off into outer space, drink till you're flat on your face. From the comfort of your home, so if you puke alone, one day we'll even find that place in France. And don't come crying to us if you pee your pants. Time travel pub crawl. Time travel pub crawl. Time travel pub crawl. Yeah!
Should really be an right at the end of that one. But all right, welcome along, everybody. I'm Adam for Mysterious Chicago Tours, coming to you live tonight in these awesome neon pants. Because as I always say in a world of Eddie Haskell's, you gotta be a Kimmy Gibbler. I'm Adam for Mysterious Chicago, been a tour guide and historian here in Chicago for going on 20 years now, author of such books as Mysterious Chicago, the book, which, I got a royalty check for this today. That's the first time that has ever happened. This book has been out for 7 years and just earned back its modest advance. I mean, modest advance, but you don't get too much per copy when these things sell. But at the same time, the check also came bundled with one for H.H. Holmes' The True History of the White City Devil. One thing I've never seen another check on, I Kissed a Zombie, and I liked it. I get about enough for a pretty good set of Happy Meals twice a year for Smart Alec's Guide to American History. Should be getting a check soon for Graceland Cemetery, Chicago Stories, Symbols, and Secrets. And about 3 years from now, I might get a check for Cemeteries of Manhattan, which is coming out next year from Algonquin Press. That's what I spend most of my days working on. And I just realized how old this particular deck is here on my broadcasting software. Remember when we first did these tours and we were all on lockdown, we kept putting up that Stern Lori Lightfoot thing? It's still in the deck. I just realized that. So welcome along, everybody. I'm Adam from Mysterious Chicago. About 3 years ago when we started doing these, I thought it would be fun to do time travel pub crawls. Since we're doing virtual things, we can go on a virtual pub crawl and not be bound by time or space. We can go to bars all over the place, all aboard the Fool Killer submarine. The Fool Killer submarine, of course, was found in the Chicago River. Whether it was a submarine or what, nobody really knows, but they certainly advertised it as a submarine. Raised it up out of the water the next month, claimed to find a dead guy on board the thing. We're going to say it disappears from the record about 1916, probably got sold for scrap during World War I, but we're going to say we found it. It was in the couch tomb the whole time. And not only did we find it, but we find that it goes forwards and backwards all through time, also makes julienne fries. So, all right, we are getting ready to get going here. First of all, wait a minute. We've got a message from Eli, our ship's mechanic. Hey,
Adam.
Hey, Eli. Say hi to the people, everybody. It's like you will in a couple weeks.
Oh, I just had a suggestion for tonight's pub crawl.
That's a little below your pay grade, but okay.
Well, you know how this thing can go through time and space, right?
Yep, we go all the way through time.
Yeah, well, I kind of feel like you haven't been taking full advantage of the and space part of that.
What are you talking about? We went all the way from the south side to the north side.
Yeah. I know. But what if we went to New York City?
New York City? Where they make all the salsa?
Out there. There's a world outside Chicago.
No.
There's a life beyond the second city. There's an other city out there. They eat dirty water hot dogs.
Why?
Take a look beyond the windy city to where the pizza's crispy.
Yeah, it's greasy. It's greasy is what it is. Oh, dear.
Get out your cocktail glass, we're gonna take New York in one of those new flying submarines. We're gonna find adventure in the evening air, cabarets from the olden days and hotels from 1915. Get out your cocktail glass, we're gonna sail through time. And in the cheesy jokes we'll surely drown. We'll take a drive to the beatnik dives and we'll close the town feeling wow. And we won't come home until we're fully plowed.
All right, you heard the man.
Come on, Adam. The bright lights of Broadway. More elevated trains. The stuffed whale at Barnum's Museum.
Stuffed whale. Let's go.
Hurrah! Hurrah!
Okay, I'll stop saying hurrah and we'll go. Okay. All right, well, you heard the man. I think we are going to head our way on out. So where should we go first? Let's take Manhattan, make like some Muppets, and make our way to the 1927 edition of the Ziegfeld Theater. Mr. Ziegfeld Sr. is at Graceland Cemetery here in Chicago. His son, Florence Jr., started the Ziegfeld Follies. This was a variety show that went on year after year after year, sometimes in different theaters, sometimes all over the place, sometimes a little bit risque. This is the interior. This was the 1927 edition, designed by Joseph Urban. Now, he also designed a ballroom here at the Congress Hotel in Chicago, where Benny Goodman broadcast to us live from all over the place. A lot of different theaters, also such places as Mar-a-Lago. But here, the Ziegfeld Follies was held here back in 1931, and one of the attractions in the show that year, 1931, was a dancer by the name of Faith Bacon, who did a fan dance, which is most famously done by Sally Rand here at Chicago in the 1933 World's Fair. Faith Bacon later tried to sue Sally Rand, to which Sally Rand merely replied, "That dance goes back to Cleopatra. You can't sue me for that." Faith Bacon fell into some hard times after that, eventually died here in Chicago. She was one of our very first find a grave subjects over at Wonders Cemetery, and very, very difficult to find, too. Found out it wasn't easy to find people over at Wonders Cemetery. But now we know. And speaking of that, once again, remember, tomorrow, it's a road trip for me to get out to Find a Grave Friday tomorrow. There will be a special guest, so be sure to tune in tomorrow at 10 o'clock Central for Find a Grave Friday. But while we're here at the theater, everybody pop your drinks. Let's enjoy some Faith Bacon right on stage. Only taller than she was back then. Yeah, very risque. I don't want to get us in too much trouble around here. You never know, they might be broadcasting this in Florida or something. That's all right. Now, usually we start out the New York trip. We haven't actually done this New York one in about 3 years now. Now, first couple of time travel pub crawls were very, very well received and very popular. This one, they kind of fell off a cliff, so I haven't done it again ever since then. But you know what? Let's move on to the Astor Hotel here in New York City and see if we can get ourselves a drink. Oh, no.
Hello, sport.
Wait, let's see. Let me just show you this. This is the Astor Hotel, named for the Astor family. Mrs. Astor's ballroom held 400 people, so they came to talk about the real upper-crust elite social types in New York as the 400. You were in the elite if you were among the 400 who could fit into Mrs. Astor's ballroom. The Hotel Astor also had a rooftop garden that looks absolutely stunning. And the ballroom itself in here, which is like a 3-tiered version of the gold ballroom at the Congress Hotel, which we'll be seeing pretty soon here. But let's see what we can get here as far as drinks.
Hello, sport. Welcome to the Hotel Astor.
Wait, aren't you that jerk from the Stratosphere Club in Chicago?
Who's to say? I have worked the Stratosphere, but obviously I wouldn't remember the likes of you.
If I wanted to be insulted, I'd go to Tex Guinan's.
No need for an extra trip. I'm happy to insult you here.
Look, Tony Pastors isn't even serving drinks these days.
Barbarians.
Can we have something here?
How about I make you a Park Avenue? It's
Park
as close
Avenue.
to that high level of society as you're likely to ever get.
All right. I look at me. I'm a big fancy jerk named
What's that?
Reginald Oxford
Speak up,
Smythe.
you mumbling
That's you.
ragamuffin.
I said, what's in it?
Sweet vermouth, pineapple juice, and orange curacao.
Okay, I'll take a drink, but we're gonna walk over to the Algonquin where at least people are witty.
The Algonquin? Good luck. I don't go there anymore. They never laugh at my jokes. Here, take a napkin with you. You don't want to soil their seats.
Well, while we're at the Astor, though, having just dealt with Reginald Oxford Smythe III, sitcom name if I ever heard one, well, we'll walk over. The Astor would have been right over here, Midtown vicinity, just by Bryant Park, where I go to play chess and lose every single time. But here, there was a song that came out. I mentioned some of these got a little bit risque. Here is She Had to Go and Lose It at the Astor.
Oh, she had to go and lose it at the Astor. She didn't know exactly whom to blame, and she couldn't say just how or when she lost it. She only knew she had it when she came.
Similar to the kind of parlor song that was popular at the time, rather naughty depending on how you wrote the verses, similar to I Used to Work in Chicago. I used to work in Chicago in a department store. I used to work in Chicago, I did, but I don't anymore. A woman came in and asked for a hat, a new hat from the store. Felt she wanted, felt she got, and I don't work there no more. All right, I just told him we were going out to the Algonquin Hotel, so let me see if I can find, where the heck did I put the Algonquin Hotel in here? All right, just a little bit further down. Oh, I'm way out of order. Here it is, the Algonquin Hotel, also in Midtown, not too far away from where we just were. Famously the home of the Algonquin Round Table, a group of 1920s smart set types who would hang around here for lunch every day trying to outdo each other with insults. One of them said, "It was the 20s, damn it, we had to be snarky." Anyway, they occasionally pose for photographs too, not just drawings by Al Hirschfield. Park Avenue cocktail, still delicious right over here. We are fairly close to Park Avenue. The round table itself is not exactly there anymore, but they do have this painting of it and a round table nearby the painting. Now, it used to be there was a place in here called the Oak Room. It was one of the most popular cabarets in the city. And when we were first putting this all together, I asked some of our people, where would you like to play around New York? People who were going to be able to join in for this. So, Marissa Mulder told me she always wanted to play at the Algonquin, the Oak Room at the Algonquin. So here's a drink at the Algonquin. This is their special cocktail. 1.5 ounces of rye, that's a shot of rye, plus half a shot of pineapple juice and half a shot of vermouth. Delish. But Marissa Mulder shows up on a lot of our time travel pub crawls. This would have been her time travel pub crawl debut. In fact, when we weren't even being in the same room with other people anymore, so she had to coordinate quite a bit with Bill, her piano player. Just saw the two of them in New York a few months ago now. But her most recent album is called Two Tickets Left, features a terrific Anais Mitchell cover and also some Tom Waits stuff. She did in fact do a whole album of Tom Waits stuff. Bill also has an album out, Better Than Nothing, the music of Bill Zephyro, but here are the two of them. I'll give you my favorite Marissa hit.
I never feel a thing is real when I'm away from you, out of your embrace. The world's a temporary parking place. A bubble for a minute. You smile. The bubble has a rainbow in it. Say it's only a paper moon sailing over a cardboard sea. But it wouldn't be make-believe if you believed in me. Yes, it's only a canvas sky hanging over a muslin tree. But it wouldn't be make-believe if you believed in me. Without your love, it's a honky-tonk parade. Without your love, it's a melody played in a penny arcade. It's a Barnum and Bailey world, just as phony as it can be. But it wouldn't be make-believe if you believed in me.
Look them up if you are in New York. They still play around Hell's Kitchen about once a week. Absolutely stunning every time. That was so pretty, we ought to go do something that's not quite so pretty now. So let's make our way across town a little bit and go see Texas Guinan. Texas was this woman right here who would entice people to her club by insulting the hell out of them. It is a style of entertainment that had been perfected about a generation before her by Aristide Bruant, painted here famously by Toulouse-Lautrec. He would have people come into his club, Le Merleton, people who were slumming, rich people, and he would just insult the hell out of them when they walked in. There's one of his songs that he would sing to them translated as something like, "What a bunch of wimps, a pile of rotten, you look like aborted muck. A pile of rotting meat. Is it because your mother's had no teats that you don't even know how to suck?" I got that a little out of order, but you kind of get the point of it, and people ate it up. They loved it. So Texas Guinan did the same thing, operating around New York all through the 20s, though she also appeared for a while at the Green Mill here in Chicago. There's a clip of her. You might recognize this. She would throw wads of paper and ping pong balls at people a lot. Kind of pioneered the Dick's Last Resort style in a way. But she even ended up putting out, we only have silent footage of her, I believe. But there she is insulting everybody. Should probably put some music under this. But she did, in fact, do an entire cocktail book. So we'll show you here the Texas Guinan cocktail, which is effectively a whiskey cobbler. That is a shot of whiskey, third of a shot of simple syrup, a dash of Angostura bitters, and a dash of grenadine and an orange slice garnish. Is it just me, or does this sound an awful lot like a Manhattan? And of course, we can't really recreate the sound here exactly, but we did get one of our favorite bands to do a song for us right here. Ladies and gentlemen and those beyond the binary, let me introduce you to one of our favorites from down in Georgia, May Haley's Grave.
Grave. This song's Gingerlicious. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Well, I don't think so. But I've been told a ginger woman ain't got no soul. I don't believe them. They're telling lies. 'Cause I got so close to heaven when I look into the time. Some like them tall and tan, some like them dusty. But you know me, I like my girls a little rusty. I fiery, sexy and passionate. There's no tasting women till you taste it tender. They say lots have more fun and fruit, that's the truth. But you won't believe your luck when there's a redhead after you. You think that you know women, what you think you know's fictitious. You never learn a thing till you've been screwed by Gingerlicious. So you so red hot, let's do a few shots. Show me all your freckles while I play connect the dots. So we can be shady, lady, and have some fun. Stay in bed all day so you can keep out of the sun. Late at night, can't get right. I can't sleep, I got this crazy appetite. Chocolate and vanilla, very good to see. But I'm only craving cinnamon and cherries to believe. They say blondes have more fun and brunettes are true. But you won't believe your luck when there's a redhead after you. Oh, you better watch out when a redhead attacks. Or you end up with a 500,000 scratch marks on your to play with fire. Talk about a dame of flame, you're preaching to the choir. All one was my first time. Splendor in the grass will probably be the death of me, so one will be my last. Some like 'em tall and tan, some like 'em busty, but you know me, I like my girls a little rusty. I dig 'em fiery, sexy and vicious. Oh, you got no taste of women till you taste the ginger listen. They say blondes have more fun and brunettes are true, but you won't believe you're left with that's a record after you. It's a wild kind of witchcraft, make you superstitious. She'll abracadabra, that's the stuff that did me. Thanks, everybody.
May Haley's Grave of Carrollton, Georgia, everybody. Miles is up here. He's come to enjoy the show. Oh, he is purring really good, too. That's a good Miles. Well, all right. So, where else were we going to be heading on this thing? Here's the thing. I got this one all out of order. I know that there is a reprise right here. Where are we going next?
We'll ditch from pastures and hit the Astor and close the town like a trunk. And we won't come home until we're stinking drunk.
This is true, but we've already actually been to the Astors. Why don't we go check out, there was a place we were going to check out here. Tony Pastor's was right about here. Tony Pastor's was a variety theater known for clean entertainment. Who goes to variety shows wanting to see something clean? Apparently some people did, because Tony Pastor did a pretty good business here. One woman who had a play that was performed here and ended up having to sue to get royalties was the journalist Jean Cowgill, who a few years later was working for the Chicago American, Hearst paper here in Chicago, writing things like about the perils of the great city, about the dangers of chop suey joints, which to her were exactly the same as the dangers of ice cream parlors. Wasn't so much the product or the people who ran it, it was that women were going there unaccompanied. She herself had run away to be an actress, got married, things fell apart, and became rather prudish after that. But when she met Johann Hawk, the serial killer, she became convinced that he was innocent and talked her boyfriend into being his new lawyer. So these things happen. Tony Pastor's is not going to be a place where we can go to get a drink, so we will in fact skip the Pastors. But you know what? Why don't we at least swing by Barnum's Museum? Barnum's Museum stood right here until it caught fire. Up in the distance here, you can see Trinity Church. The spire is right down there. Right across the street from it, on the other side of the park, would be St. Paul's Church. Now, here's the thing. St. Paul's famously survived the 9/11. All the rubble fell from the World Trade Center, only damaged a couple of gravestones, didn't knock out so much as a window on the church, which frequently you'll hear tour guides talking about this being a miracle. The miracle they could have used was not having 9/11 happen at all, I would think, but it is really remarkable that it held up. But it also held up in the fire of 1776 that burned a pretty good chunk of New York City, and the fire at Barnum's Museum that really should have wrecked it. They were like pouring water all over it when it happened. But this, of course, was run by P.T. Barnum. But here's the problem, everybody. Despite what it says in Hello, Dolly, there was no stuffed whale at Barnum's Museum. There was this phony rubber whale that would pop up and down. It was not advertised as a stuffed whale. I think they made people think it was a real whale. You never could tell with P.T. Barnum. All right, what else was in this deck? Now, we just went here a couple of weeks ago, but still, I absolutely love talking about this place. So, down at Houston and Crosby in the Soho area was Harry Hill's Variety Theater. Harry Hill's Variety Theater was a very interesting place. It was a little more progressive than most. It was one of the very few places where you would see same-sex or mixed race dancing. It was known as a rowdy place. It had regular entertainment. It also had regular bare-knuckle fights and lots of dancing. It was a place where everybody congregated. Pickpockets, politicians, the police officers who would normally be arresting the pickpockets. There's There's a thing in Frederick Gerhard's Dark Side of New York Life. He said, "This is of all the more importance. Harry Hill's saloon is the meeting place of the lowest class of pickpockets, gamblers, burglars, prize fighters, and rowdies, while the female portion of the visitors consists entirely of prostitutes. Here, youthful levity takes the first steps on the slippery road of sin. The first inhales its poisonous atmosphere." First step on the road to degradation. I say, At first, it has amused him to watch the free ways of the male and female guests of this saloon. Then he talked with one of the sirens, and in the course of his regular visits, he tried a short dance. From dancing, he took to drinking, and from drinking to dancing, and so on and so on. First, medicinal wine from a teaspoon, then beer from a bottle, and the next thing you know, he'll be playing for money in a pinchback suit. Listening to some big out-of-town Jasper here to tell you all about horse-race gambling. 1868, Matthew Hale Smith said the room is full of thieves, pickpockets, prize-fighters, bullies, short boys, denizens of the bloody six, females of all grades, shoplifters, counterfeiters, women just out of the state prison, panel thieves, and females whose trade it is to get employment in houses as domestics only to commit robbery. By the side of a police sergeant sits a panel thief. By the side of a Broadway jeweler sits a noted shoplifter. A lawyer of repute can be seen drinking with a prize fighter, and respectable businessmen mingle cozily with desperate New York males and females. Mark Twain came in one time, and he said, after some musical numbers about a man who mimicked fighting cats, this is how I think Mark Twain talked, and the buzzing of mosquitoes and the squealing of a pig, then a homely young man in a Highland costume entered upon the stage and danced, and he ought to have danced moderately, because nothing in the wide world was on him but a short coat and short stockings, and this was apparent every time he whirled around. However, no one observed it but me. I know that because several handsomely dressed young ladies from 13 to 16 and 17 years of age went and sat down under the footlights, and of course they would have moved away if they had noticed that he was only partly dressed. That's another view from the inside. And a view from on a night when they were having a prize fight. You can see multiple people have brought their dogs in there. It's very modern of them, really. And also you can see this guy who looks exactly like Dr. Brainerd from here in Chicago. Dr. Brainerd here is drinking out of a goblet with a straw, which marks it immediately as a sherry cobbler, which was, bits of real fruit, crushed ice, glass of dry sherry, some grenadine, frozen fruit chopped, and some fruit juice. It's what we would now joke about being a girl drink, but is probably absolutely delicious. In fact, I've made these. They are, in fact, quite delicious. They will make you a new man in every particular. Among the entertainment there was Mrs. Partington, who was a ventriloquist doll, who mostly did a lot of malapropisms and taking metaphors too literally. It's very similar to like an Amelia Bedelia book. And I love that about this place. You've got all these pickpockets and thieves and prize fighters. If you went up on that stage and read them an Amelia Bedelia book, they would think you were the funniest SOB ever. But also you had Joseph Pujol Le Patoman, an artist of farts. This was before microphones, so he had to fart into a giant horn. He could fart out songs and everything. It's a very weird thing to do a silent film of. The people were amazed. While I was at it, I also checked out this particular bit of the Serpentine Dance. Kristen, he would not be farting color all over that place. He had pants on. you know, we got a little bit more time here. What was this video? Ah, yeah, zooming in on the Gilded Age view. It's been 3 years since we were on this particular tour, but I had to go back and see what all we had here. You know, there was the Gaslight. Recently made more famous on Mrs. Maisel. The Gaslight was a place where they would have poetry, folk music, and whatever else anybody would show up to do. The place smelled absolutely terrible by all accounts. There was a deal with the neighbors that they couldn't make too much noise. This is where the idea of snapping instead of clapping came from. At least that's what Dave Van Ronk later claimed. Dave Van Ronk was kind of the host of the Gaslight Hootenannies, known as the mayor of McDougal Street. Later wrote a fantastic autobiography. Hugh Romney, that is Wavy Gravy. Here with Len Chandler, folk singer, Tom Paxton, John Wynne. I got in touch with some of these people trying to look up a thing that happened at the Gaslight in '63. Ended up getting a lot of really good gossip about the early 1960s folk scene. Didn't find what I was looking for, but did get a lot of data on who was on what kind of pills and who had what kind of personality disorders. There were quite a few of them. It was actually this one. The Twilight Hootenanny in 1963, featuring this long list of people, including Bill Cosby and Bob Dylan. Now, there's nothing... Dylan heads do not know of any time that he played at the Gaslight in 1963. Apparently, he did here. I got in touch with everybody on the list who is still ambulatory, except for Dylan himself and, of course, Bill Cosby. Got a lot of good data about it. I didn't get a hold of Jack Elliott either. But I got in touch with a lot of these people. None of them exactly remembered this event. Some of them thought it was maybe something very vague. Had a lot of interesting comments about Peter Lafarge, particularly. And here's a picture of what it looked like on the inside. There's any number of places around this where we can kind of recreate the effect of this around Chicago, even today. There's always a bar for where the weirdos hang out. Well, let's move uptown a little bit. Uptown on 52nd Street. These are some photos by Gottlieb that were given to the Library of Congress and are now public domain, which is fairly late for a public domain one. There had to be some paperwork about that. But all down 52nd Street, back in the 1950s, there were an awful lot of popular jazz clubs, such as the Onyx. The Onyx on the inside looked like this. Thompson Entertainment. This would have been a very modern-looking interior back in the 1930s. Then in the back, you can see there's an upright bass and a piano. That would be the Thompson Entertainment part. The menu included champagne for $1. Of course, you got to remember that's like $20 or so in today's money. So this stuff, you know, they talk about how cheap these things were, but really they'd be $15-20 into if you adjust for inflation. We're moving a little bit up. There's a place called the Hickory House. Color postcard. On the inside, it looked like this. It had one of those circular bars, not unlike the Stratosphere Club here in Chicago. Decorated with a bunch of horse race pictures. With some stuck-up jockey boy sitting on Dan Patch. Makes the blood boil, well, I should say. What sport is even that? Football? Okay. But it was a popular hangout. People like, when the band was playing here, Duke Ellington would sometimes show up and be induced to sit in. He had the same publicist as the club, which probably helped. A handful of people did do live albums here, including Jutta Hip, who had the best album covers. She really did. She played the piano. And Marion McPartland's trio, Jazz at the Hickory House. I don't quite have Jazz at the Hickory House, but this is one I can't believe we haven't ever re-aired this one in 3 years because it's absolutely fantastic. Now, I just mentioned there's always bars for weirdos. One such place in Chicago is the Gallery Cabaret. It's under new management now, but back in the day when it was not, I would meet so many cool people there. One guy that I met there was a guy who had come up from Louisiana by the name of Silas Reed, who had agreed to provide a performance for the Time Travel Pub Crawl. Silas Reed, everybody.
Just an old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind. Georgia, Georgia, I'm singing this song for you. Comes through so sweet and clear, like moonlight through the pine. Other arms reach out to me. Other eyes smile tenderly. In my dreams, still I see that road lead right back to you. Georgia, Georgia, oh, no peace I find from you. Just an old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind. Reach out for me, yeah. Other eyes smile tenderly. In my dreams, still I see that road lead right back to you, Georgia, Georgia. I find from you, no, no, no. Just that old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind. Georgia on my mind.
See, why can't you guys get together like that? All right, everybody, that is our time travel pub crawl for this week, bringing back the New York one. We've done a couple of scattered spots from that in the last few years, but a few of those we haven't brought back at all. Next week's virtual tour is going to be one that I did back this past winter called Did They Hang the Wrong Man? Whole bunch of true crime stories in which it's entirely possible that the person who went to the gallows was not entirely guilty. We got a bunch of in-person ones coming up. I haven't been able to add these to the Facebook yet due to some Facebook glitches. Why should the day be any different? But this Saturday night, a couple of days hence, we'll be doing H.H. Holmes' The Devil Downtown. The weekend after that, July 23rd, the Sunday, we will be doing Graceland Cemetery, as we do at least once a month this time of year. Then, August 12th and 13th, Grave Robbing 101 and Rose Hill Cemetery, both of which will feature special guest Eli of the Dead Ringers and our ship's mechanic, who you saw earlier on today. So lots of stuff coming up. You can get links to all of those on MysteriousChicago.com. They'll be on Facebook as soon as Facebook is working properly for me. And once again, to make sure you tune in for Find a Grave Friday tomorrow. It's going to be a doozy. I always want to say that when I got to commute a ways. Though really, just going to All Saints is really quite a commute in and of itself. But, all right, everybody, thanks a lot for joining me. We will put the Benny Goodman back on and just hang out a bit like always. Benny. That'd take me back. No, of course. What else am I going to do? Somebody texted me earlier, what are you doing for your birthday? I'm like, oh, I'm working on this book about where I'm getting to the part where I'm writing about Adam Allen, the comedian's grave. They're like, you're just going to work all day? But I like to. I've been saving this guy. Thanks, Ed. I'll be leaving plenty early, don't worry. Thanks everybody who's hit me up on the Venmo, the Patreon, etc. And everybody who has throughout the day. Always greatly appreciated. I don't like to harp on it too much on here. Thank you, Marita. You know, when you get the job that suits you right, work is more fun than fun. Debbie, I'm glad to hear that. And sometimes people have trouble with Patreon. I don't know your password. There's not much I can do. Everybody does have a password. Or should. It's really time I put together a new time travel pub crawl, isn't it? I was thinking by the end of the summer we got to do the Endless Summer Tiki Edition. I'm going to want to do a new one now. It's tricky because I like to pay the performers, and these days these things don't exactly pay for themselves most of the time. Not like the olden days. Nah, I still do alright. I'm still eating. I'm just seeing in the comments now that the lights went out in Georgia. That actually ties in very well with next week's upcoming tour. You heard the song, that's the night that the lights went out in Georgia. That's the night that they hung an innocent man. You're going to have to be more specific than that about Georgia, really. Oh, Kathy Miles will be fine, yeah. Well, I don't know, since Lily came, they've been wolfing the food. Just wolfing it. I mean, one morning I fill up their water, the next day, not only is it empty, but they have dragged all the water dishes over towards the sink.
That was the bugle call rag, Benny Goodman's own arrangement. Now, the popular tune, Thanks a Million.
Oh yeah, Sharon did the heavy work 43 years ago. I got heavy, and quite a ways after that, too. Trying to raise an ADD kid before anybody knew what that was. Oh yeah, every year we do a tiki version of this, where we go to famous tiki bars at. That'll probably be in 2 weeks. Really ought to pick a time when we got Eli coming so I can still promote Eli's upcoming appearances. He's coming to town for one of the Springsteen concerts. Gina, thank you for that. This did in fact come from COVID. It was my desperation to do something, partly to keep myself busy. Kathy, I got my tickets. The Eras tour has made it to Denver, huh? That'll be good for your economy. You know, my real hope when I started these, Gina, was I just thought I'll start doing some live broadcasts as like promo, so when things start up again, maybe it'll help sell tickets. I certainly didn't expect it to do what it did. Pub crawl with Eli would be one option. It takes a lot to book those kind of things, though. Oh, yeah, sir, I'm going for the Barbie Pink Watch. You have no idea how much mileage I'm getting out of telling people my mom worked for Mattel when I was a kid this year. Now that Barbie Mania has engulfed us all with the upcoming film that is rumored to be just fantastic. And if it's not going to be for lack of trying. Even if it turns out to suck, it's going to be an honorable failure. Clearly, they tried to do something interesting here. Danny, I've seen Springsteen many times. Not as many times as I've seen the Mountain Goats or Dylan. I may eventually see the Mountain Goats more than I've seen Dylan. Maybe. But partly because they've got probably 30 extra years plus of touring in front of them. Being 30 or so years younger than Dylan and all. You know, Karen, they're doing, the Alamo Drafthouse here is doing a double feature on opening day of Oppenheimer in the morning and then Barbie in the afternoon. They say Oppenheimer created the world that Barbie lives in, right? I haven't been to the Barbie Pop-Up Cafe. I feel like I'm probably in it as some kind of Mattel event in the 80s. Bob Dylan didn't really exist. He's not there, he's gone. Karen, no, you know, I didn't think to get any pie today. I don't know what I'm thinking not getting pie. Or I should have some pie.
Benny Goodman presents On the Alamo.
Yeah, there can always be more pie. There are lunch plans for following Miles. Did you just knock something over? Yeah, you get that scratch in there. I'm gonna pick you up. There are lunch plans for after the Find a Grave Friday tomorrow. I forget what they are, but I hear it's good. Don't claw me, please. Well, generally, I would not be interested in seeing a Barbie movie just in general, but by all accounts, they're trying to do something very creative with this one. Initially, they were saying kind of like the Lego movie type vibes. Now they say like the easiest thing to compare it to is probably Elf, but much more surreal. Okay. Kathy, all depends. Bob, right now there are no plans for the meal, for the dinners. The chef got a different gig, etc. We're having a hard time with the logistics of it. Debbie, absolutely. Great way to celebrate. I'll probably not be wearing these awesome pants. But still.
the Congress Hotel in Chicago.
I will get these things up on. These events will be up on Mysterious Chicago as soon as possible. Yeah, I'll probably. I feel like I took the frozen pants thing about as far as it could go that one year. Hey, Georgina. Thanks, everybody. We're just in the after show hangout now. Every week after the regular show, we do the after show and just kind of hang out. It's the Adam After Show, brought to you by Chex Mix. It's not brought to you by Chex Mix. Debbie, remind me. Even Mr. Crosby sings it. If it hollers, let it go, let it fly away. Hey, Ellen. Things are all right. I'm keeping it to the one drink tonight, guys. After last week and all. Have a good time, Susan? That sounds like fun.
And we'll let the title speak for itself. Benny Goodman presenting Madhouse.
So I remember that from like years ago. Good night, Kitty. Oh yeah, the colors of the lights back there. We do in fact match the pants. Sonic quit making boneless wings. I think Wingstop has those. Do they? I don't know. I've never had a good meal at Wingstop. Thank you, Phoenix. We saw Faith Bacon today, you know. Once again, tomorrow's going to be a doozy of a Find a Grave Friday. Thanks, Dave and Kara. Bronzewood Cemetery in Oak Brook. No, I don't think I have. Yeah, if I'm at Wingstop, I gotta be at a town that doesn't have a lot of other options. It happens. You're on the road, you eat at some of the most demonstrably ugly places. You wine, dine, sip, and sup. With a mean-looking patty melts and coffee not strong enough to defend itself. Good night, Jan.
And here's a short encore portion of Benny Goodman's forthright invitation at the beginning of his program. Let's dance.
Benny's on his encore, so it's a good time for me to once again plug the upcoming stuff. Next week's virtual tour will be the men. Did they hang the wrong man? Hey, Priya. Hey, Priya, cat, you want to get picked up? Gotcha. Come say hi to everybody, Priya. Say hi to all the nice people. All right, Saturday night, H.H. Holmes, The Devil Downtown. Well, that's allergies. Next weekend after that, Graceland Cemetery on August 12th and 13th. Eli is coming. Better hide your heart, girl.
We have been presenting the music of Benny Goodman and his orchestra from the
All right.
living room of the Congress Hotel.
So thanks, everybody. I love it when I can work a Laura Nyro reference into the old show. So thanks for joining me. I'm Adam from Mysterious Chicago Tourist, telling you all to stay safe and stay strong, and tune in to Find a Grave Friday tomorrow. And of course, everybody, stay spooky.